ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Good as Gold number 56. I'm OrD, that's ORD. You can find me on the Twitters at ORD_SC2. You can also find me at all those locations down over there, the flashing little GIF thing. With me today as my co-commentator is LordFreiza. You can find him on YouTube and on Twitch at Frieza Starcraft. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Hey, I'm great myself. How are you doing?
Fantastic as always. Gonna open everything up and let you take away with the intro.
Alrighty, so spawning the bottom left-hand corner of Condemned Ridge, it is Catastrophic, the pink Protoss, I believe that's pink. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, it's our yellow Terran, Dibs 1. So, I mean, after last game, we did say Dibs 1 take down a pretty nice little victory. That was last game, I believe, versus our Zerg counterpart. So,
it was indeed, yes. And he actually just whispered me in between games there that was a build specifically that he saw a Complexity Gosu user use. And I actually haven't seen it before, but it seems quite effective. I told him I look forward to trying it out tomorrow. I'm going to be laddering a lot tomorrow. Hopefully I can stream the majority of it, but if there's any lag, then I'm not going to. Lag is evil when you're playing. It's okay sometimes when you're casting, but even then...
yeah, I totally gotcha. So you still play Terran?
I do. That is my main race, I definitely have to say. I play the other races some to try and, stay familiar with them, but I got a lot of mechanics to work on, so it's easier to focus on one race at a time. If you're anybody out there, I'm not saying not to play all three races. I'm saying that if you pick one, it's a lot easier to get better at that race quicker. The Protoss player, Catastrophic, is up in the main, scouting around Dib Zone, realizing that, hey, there's a lot of SCVs and no racks. And in just a moment, he'll probably wander down here and see the Dib Zone chose to go Command Center first, which I love as a choice on this map. This map is huge. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also an interesting build that's only come out recently, and I don't know, it's weird to see how Terran players make it work, because in theory, I almost think as though it shouldn't work, but when it does work, it can really pay off economically. So I think it's a great build, and I'm really looking forward to see how he tries to hold this off.
Now, if he's Flash, or one of the other Pro League players, he's going to go with another Command Center next, and then he's going to build a second Rax, and then he might build a third Rax, or he might just go straight to Factory Tech. If he does that, he should probably lose.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be really funny, though.
It's a really, really greedy build, and if your opponent is trying to be passive, it puts you so much farther ahead in that mid and then early late game. Terran versus Protoss, obviously the late game favors Protoss. The units are more powerful, they have a quicker remax. Same goes for Zerg even, so as a Terran, you got to make sure that you damage your opponent from the other, if they're a different race. If it's a mirror matchup, obviously it's not quite the same. But if you're playing against Protoss or Zerg, you got to make sure that you do some damage early to mid game. That's why you see so often these timing attacks. Now the probe finally will be chased away. I think he actually might make it out alive, which I'm surprised about, and that's unfortunate. Oh no!
Ooh.
He doesn't go down the ramp?
Ooh, that's a little of a misstep right there, and that probe's going to cost him his life. What's interesting about Marine with stutter step, I'm pretty sure if you stutter step absolutely perfectly, you can catch the worker, but if it's not absolutely perfectly, you never catch it, and it's really hard to actually get it just perfectly.
I have no idea why he went up and around the way that he did, and that just revealed the fact that, oh no, there's a command center down, there's already an expansion, and there's a bunker. And so Catastrophic has to make the decision right now. He's got enough money for an expansion, but he could commit to like a low economy 5-gate right now, or maybe he's going to go 3-gate robo, or he's going to expand. Like, those are pretty much his only two choices right now.
Well, he does seem to have the minerals banked up, but he is taking a second assimilator now, so that concerns me. It leads me to believe he's actually going to be going for warpins right here rather than expansion. So taking the second gas geyser, I'd like to see him throw down a robotics bay, or either that or he's going to go heavy into the sentry play. Otherwise, you wouldn't need those two gas geysers. So I'm interested to see what he goes for, but an all-in barrage might be too much for Dibs 1. He does have these two bunkers now, which are now producing a third, so he's going to have 3 bunkers down, probably saturated by the time it hits, so it may be enough. 3 bunkers is pretty scary to try and break, but I don't know. Do you think he'd be better off expanding? Oh, there's the expansion, actually. Call me wrong.
I think that that was really late. Like, you already have the orbital. What's working in his favor when you look at the income tab is you see that Terran's actually behind in harvesters because he got so nervous about the probe scout that he laid down all these bunkers, which isn't a terrible choice. But what it means is that um, he tried for an economic advantage and then surrendered it immediately. So it's like, I don't like that kind of play because it means that you're vulnerable early game, and then you decide to go with something else like just a few minutes later. So you literally change your entire game strategy from one of taking a chance to one of being really safe. And what happens is absolutely nothing. Like, it becomes completely normal timing again. Everything evens out, and you see that uh, normally Terran gets an expansion around 7:30 to 8:30, and that's slightly ahead of the Protoss timing. And so really this game, which could have been interesting because the command center first is basically an even playing field. Right now, the supply is in the advantage of Catastrophic. Opening up that army supply tab, you see that Catastrophic also has the larger army and has just a few behind in worker supply. But now that the second Nexus is done, you're going to see some Chrono being laid down there and some more probes coming out. So I was excited for Dib Zone. I wish he had committed to it. But then at the same time, if Catastrophic had been attacking, that would have worked out wonderfully for him. So the one thing that you can do in that situation, if you're Terran, to kind of help increase the chances that Protoss decides to attack you, is do a gas steal on them, or maybe bring a SCV forward and pretend like you're going to do a bunker rush, so they're forced into warping in a lot of units. And then at that point they go, oh, well, I have a big army, I can go attack. And if you do any of that cost effectively, then when they get to your base, they go, oh, you already have 3 bunkers and 40 supply of Marines. I guess I lose.
Yeah, I mean, it's all great points to bring up. I'd like to mention that our Protoss base, he did just bring in his first Immortal, now taking a Twilight Council and another Gateway. I'd like to see him be working on a few more Immortals, because as you probably know, Immortals do a ton of damage versus Armored. I believe it's 50. So they just rip these bunkers to shreds, and that's really the kind of firepower you need to knock it down, especially before the SCV repair gets on it, in the case of that kind of engagement. It appears he's going to be playing a bit more passively for the moment, for the time being. Scouting Factory is moving out, and it appears we're seeing a similar build as we saw in the game versus Skypup earlier today. You switch the tech with the factory and the starport. He's got 3 racks producing all at once, so it appears to be a very similar build. I'm curious to see if his push is going to do quite as much damage, but I think so long as he's engaging on our ramp, Catastrophic could probably be able to hold it.
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to force field timing. This factory actually wandering a little bit too far forward. Looks like Good Zone doesn't care, and this obviously should tip off to Catastrophic that medevacs are in play, and that obviously mech is not the choice being made. This factory is going to reveal all the tech choices that Catastrophic has made so far. So, oh, actually, I don't think, let's go back, he did not actually see that the Robo was over here, but he did see the Immortal when he flew over, as long as he was paying attention. So we'll find out just how prepared he is for that. Also, Charge is being researched. It's a fairly quick upgrade, fairly quick at 140 seconds. Actually, no, it's not even fairly quick. I don't know why I'm saying that. It's kind of slow, but with Chrono, it can become a fairly quick upgrade. The scan goes down for Dib Zone. He feels like he has it. Force field's being actually really good. Needs to pick up these units or else they're all dead. Okay, or not.
Well, I mean, this is an interesting choice of engagement. The medevac's giving him vision of the high ground. He's starting to blast away this army, but these decent force fields preventing a whole lot of the army from firing all at once, but I'm not so sure. This Immortal not target firing. These Marauders is not going to be super effective, and it appears it's going to fall, and right now Dib Zone might just make this work.
He really might, and Catastrophic started off with some really good force fields, but then he left his Zealots there to die. The Manor Mule comes down for Dib Zone as he feels like he's definitely won this. The probes are pulled, there's another stim available, and let's see, he's got 6 medevacs right now, and the healing rate is too quick. This War Prism play would have been cute, but didn't have a chance to become anything at all. GG from both of our players. Catastrophic coping with his loss, hoping maybe that he can get I needed up on build and supply clock so bad.
My guess is that he doesn't speak English as his first language. Oh, I messed up on build and supply block, so bad with the nerves.
Block,
okay.
ball, see, nervous.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
now I gotcha.
Well, Catastrophic defended his honor there at the last moment. Perhaps not one of his best games, but that's okay. That's exactly what Good as Gold is about. I'm glad you were nervous. I'm glad you were still here playing and trying. Hopefully, some of the things that we said made some sense to you. For instance, not letting your zealots engage if you're going to force field anyway. Target firing with your immortal, like LordFreiza said. Also, keep in mind the immortal has greater range, so back it up just a little bit. And I guess we'll just cut the VOD there. I need a transition phrase, and I still haven't come up with something that doesn't feel like a direct rip-off.
It's tough because so many people have pretty much taken everything,